Welcome to another meeting of the Lorain County Commissioners, broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria. The meetings start at 9:30 a.m. on most weeks. Now, enjoy the meeting.
We could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. October 12, 1915, Teddy Roosevelt said, "There is no room in this country for hyphenated Americanism," which was pretty wild. 1915. Roxanne.
Okay, under resolutions, I need a motion to approve the Job and Family Services bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Racing today.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Investments?
So moved.
Race
Did you
got
move?
slow. Yeah, second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Appropriations?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
There are no advances or repayments this morning. Requisitions?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah. Can someone define number 14, 45, 46, and 47? Those are telecommunications. There's one for $10,000 from October to December. And that seems kind of high because all of our equipment is new, or should be.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And there's the other one for $5,000.
You're talking about the Super PO.
Yes. And there's two of them there, Super POs.
Right. I can
Actually-
explain them. I'm not sure if I can explain it suitable to what you want, but that's about what we spend every quarter on maintaining our phone systems for supplies, cabling, repairs. Well, a quick one that comes to mind, just last week, somebody spilt a cup of coffee on their phone and shorted it out. The phone was completely useless after that. That's a couple $100. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner. So this is we don't. I'm not going to tell you we're going to spend all that money, but we do have continuing ongoing cost of operating and maintaining the phone system in this county. It's huge. There's a few thousand phones on it.
I understand that, but $15,000 for 2 or 3 months seems like a lot to me.
I would suggest that our annual cost is probably in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $40,000 with ongoing movement of phones, movement of officers, changing phones, upgrading, repairs.
Coffee spills.
Coffee spills. So it's not an inexpensive system. It's a state-of-the-art system, and it's costly to maintain.
Okay, and what's the $5,000 for troubleshooting?
The I have to look at that.
John, can you get me a list of what we have spent over the past year for just equipment and telecommunications?
Sure.
Supplies, equipment.
Are you talking about the TEC communications on 1445?
Land analysis,
Okay,
troubleshooting network, discovery report, traffic analysis report.
There was a letter here from Mr. Smith on the Cisco network infrastructure. Maybe pass it to Ms. Vacy. Concerning the need for somebody to come in and work with the data department on interfacing with the Cisco equipment. I don't have a greater explanation of that. I was told that we don't have the in-house expertise to do that when it comes to...
What are they doing?
Well, this will be the DS3 that we're working on, the T1 lines, the combining of all that equipment, and bringing the Cisco routers on board with that.
Well,
That's
this
my
is talking
understanding.
about troubleshooting.
Well, they're troubleshoot. When they say troubleshooting, then they need to be able to go through, review the equipment, and work on getting it as part of the centralized infrastructure using the DS3 and the T1 lines. I can't explain the terminology. That's the way it was explained to me, and that's all the information I have on that, Commissioner. And you see the copy of the letter there from Mr. Smith.
As a side note, we had the same issues in my company a couple of years ago, and I made a policy in my company that seemed to work, is no eating or drinking at your desk. You might want to implement something like that countywide. Might save us a few $100s.
I understand your position, Commissioner.
Well, I didn't know if there is a policy regarding eating and drinking at your desk. I'm just wondering. Just a little side note, if you'd like to implement something that might save the county a few bucks next time. So. Okay.
Is that all you had, Mary Jo?
Yes. I'd like to hold up on it, all three of these until we get a better explanation of what they're for.
Well, Commissioner, as far as the open POs for telecommunications, that's ongoing work. We do those every quarter. We're beginning a new quarter here for October, November, December, so we see those every quarter.
Yeah, but 1 week won't be detrimental. I'd like the information from John, and I'd like to know exactly what we're spending this money on. I mean, I see the letter, but it doesn't really tell me that much.
I'm comfortable with everything the way it is.
The two items were for blanket purchase orders, so they come back to us again for final expenditure, final approval. Am I correct? It's a blanket purchase order or not? I guess it does.
Ms. Newton?
It comes on the white sheet. Would you give me back? That's mine. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think the equipment is needed to keep us functioning. So I don't have a problem with the blanket purchase order for those two, and the subject regarding the INA analysis. I believe the letter is explanatory. He is the department head. He is requesting this, so I'm willing to accept his request.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye, with the 3 exceptions.
Okay. Travel expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Approving bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
I'd like to authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
There was only one, wasn't there?
That I saw, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Under the Auditor's Department, number 10, we need to authorize the county auditor to issue refunds for incorrect conveyance fees paid on the sale of real estate not to exceed $500 annually.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Thank you. This is one of those deals, if everyone who's been here before understands, we were approving $10 here, $10 there. This is hopefully will save a lot of time and money for the county. So for those that didn't know what this resolution was, I appreciate it, Mr. Cortez. Finally getting a resolution on that resolution.
Under Commissioners, number 11, I'd like to receive and accept the amended petition and map for the proposed annexation of approximately 59.94 acres in LaGrange Township to the Village of LaGrange, Ohio. Original petition and map were filed with this office on August 22nd, 2002, and this annexation is being filed under the new law. The public hearing has been scheduled for Thursday, October 24th, 2002 at 10:30 a.m. The county engineer reviewed the accuracy of petition and map and indicated in a report dated September 3rd, 2002 that there was a discrepancy in the petition and map. The following changes were made to the amended petition. Number 1, in course 6, change from north 89 degrees, 5 minutes, 56 seconds east to north 89 degrees, 5 seconds, minutes, 45 minutes east. And number 2, course 7, is changed from 073 feet to 719.73 feet. There was a typo, it should have been a period instead of a
Where?
zero.
Okay.
But doesn't change any acreage or just a typo.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
County Prosecutor. I have a couple of questions. Have you reviewed this application at all? And is there, I'm assuming that this is under the new legislation, is there any possibility for a joint economic development district between LaGrange Township and Village on this particular issue?
I've looked at the petition briefly, and the particular amendment is just a typo situation. It's my understanding the subject has been thrown out a little bit, so there's some possibility. I'm not getting information that it's real likely at this point in time, but I know the topic has been raised.
Are you participating in any of those discussions at this point in time?
I've indicated to the parties that if there appears to be any willingness to proceed with it, that I would participate and attempt to help do that. And I am going to meet with the LaGrange Township Board of Trustees on the 23rd, I think it is. Is that Monday? Okay.
Oh,
So
that's the day before.
if asked, I will participate in it. But, I'm not, I guess all I can say at this point is there's some discussion of it going on.
Do you need to be asked by the commissioners to participate, or is that not timely at this point?
I don't need a specific request at this point. The township has asked that, and I've indicated to them that I can't represent the township, but I've kind of taken that as a across-the-board authorization from this commission already, that anything I can do to help the governmental entities work together seems to meet with favor of this commission, so I've kind of tended to do that on my own anyway.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Under the Community Development Department, number 12, need to advertise notice of public hearing for amendment to the county's fiscal year 2001 CDBG Small Cities Program Agreement with the Ohio Department of Development. The hearing will be held on Thursday, October 3rd, 2002 at 10:30 a.m. I have to publish the notice in the Chronicle Telegram and Morning Journal on September 19th and 26th, 2002.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Number 13, to approve and enter into loan agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Bender Development Company Incorporated, Richard Bender and Gerald Hyatt at 5445 Beaver Crest Drive, Lorain, Ohio, in the amount of $386,000 for the construction of a coastal erosion structure. The Ohio Water Development Authority funds will be allocated for this project. I'd like to authorize the President or Vice President to execute on behalf of the Board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear a little bit more on this, if we could, please.
Ron?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Twining, GWING, Community Development Director. This issue was brought before the board 2 weeks ago and was denied because we did not have what we felt in our financial review adequate security to back that loan. The property owners, Bender and Hyde, have both given us now adequate securities, and we are suggesting at this point that this new application move forward. They have to have it in the hands of the state by the 15th in order to be considered the fourth Thursday of the month. So if by chance you would approve it today, they will walk it down tomorrow, but I feel that it will still miss the September meeting. It will be deferred till October, so if it's the pleasure of this board, if there are questions, you can delay this 1 month, but we are 1 week. We are through with our review and feel that we have the security that we now need to guarantee this $386,000 loan. This is for shoreline property retention improvements that allow the property to be secured so that it doesn't erode into Lake Erie and cause problems both for the property owner and for those of us along Lake Erie. And it is a program where OWDA loans us the money at a decent, not great, but a decent interest rate, and it can go to any property owner, whether public or private, along the shoreline. I'll answer any questions you may have, and Mr. Innes may have some comments that he wants to make because he has been looking at the legal documents on this project.
What was the security? What have we got to secure this one?
We have the 2 properties along this property here, but we also have, I can't remember exactly, I think there were 30 or 31 properties in the city of Lorain that are guaranteeing this as well. And we've looked at the appraisals on those, and they are adequate.
Are we in first position or
Yes.
second? We're going to be in first on the 31 properties?
I'm sorry, second position, I'm sorry.
On the 31 properties?
Yes.
Are you getting personal guarantees on this too?
Yes,
Okay, good.
on both Bender and Hyde.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right.
A little different than last time.
Yes, considerably
A
different.
lot. I appreciate it.
Sure. Mr. Barker has spent a lot of time on this over the last 60 days reviewing, as has Mr. Ennis.
Okay, do you have any other comments, Jerry? Or you feel comfortable, or?
I think we're as comfortable as we're going to get in this particular. We have a lot of paperwork, like Ron indicates, there's 30-some properties with legal descriptions that have to be typed up. So I don't see this getting down where it's got to be tomorrow or the next day. It's going to take a while to get the documents prepared, but I think we've done everything we can at this point to make this as secure as we possibly can.
Then I move.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Of the county engineer, number 14, we need to advertise for bids for the nickel plate diagonal road retaining wall replacement project in Carlisle Township. The county engineer's estimate was $366,700. This will replace the old sandstone retaining wall with sheet piling. The project will be funded with 80% federal funds and 20% Ohio Public Works Commission funds. I'd like to publish the notice in the Chronicle Telegram and the Morning Journal on September 23rd, the 30th, and October 7th, 2002. Bids will be open in the public hearing room at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, October 15th, 2002.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Domestic Relations Court, number 15, I'd authorize the Domestic Relations Court to file a grant application to the Office of Criminal Justice Services for the Merit Project for a 5th round of funding in the amount of $91,828 in OCJS funds, with local county match of $10,203 for a total grant request of $102,031. I'd like to authorize the President or Vice President to execute on behalf of the Board.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is there anybody who wants to speak on this? Or would you like to speak on this? Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Weitzel from Domestic Relations Court. A little bit about the merit program. The whole purpose is to be able to hold juveniles accountable for their actions. We have a very good tracking system which locates and determines how many community service hours each juvenile has, if they're court ordered to complete anger management, and we have contracts through Lighthouse Family Services, which has a cage rage program, way past tense. We have a female focus group, which handles all the issues of teenage female girls. At Common Ground Facility in Oberlin, we have a program out there called Pathfinders, which works on teamwork and outdoor adventure skills for the kids. helps them build relationships, and we feel this program, like the number 15 says, it's the 5th round of funding. This has become a very great program for the court, and we'd just like to see it continue.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Under the sanitary engineer, number 16, I'd like to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $1,695 to Bay Mechanical and Electrical Corporation for the Cresthaven wastewater treatment plant. This change order is for the purchase of a new weatherproof control panel for the exterior of the pump housing at the southeast corner of the station. The county sanitary engineer and K.E. McCartney and Associates have reviewed and recommends approval. I'd like to authorize the president or vice president to execute on behalf of the board.
Before the questions asked, the funds are available in the sanitary engineers funds, so we won't be paying for this.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Under Solid Waste Management District, number 17, we'd authorize the Solid Waste Management District to partner with CenturyTel, BFI Waste Systems, and Burger King to hold their annual telephone book collection to be held October 25th, 2002 through November 11th, 2002. Total budget for this event is in the amount of $4,090.84 from Solid Waste District funds. A coupon for a free Whopper Jr. with the purchase of a Whopper Jr. at regular price will be attached to the new CenturyTel phone books. When a patron drops off their old phone book at any participating Burger King for recycling, they can redeem the coupon, but all phone books will be accepted.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under the Sheriff's Department, number 18, we just want to receive the annual report of all the fines and costs collected by the Sheriff's Office for the year of September 12, 2001 through September 12, 2002 in the amount of $153,771.86. This report is prepared and is submitted by the Lorain County Sheriff in compliance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 311.16.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Reports, comments? Mr. Cortez, Administrator?
I have no reports or comments this morning, thank you.
Okay. Assistant County Prosecutor, Mr. Ennis?
I have no report.
Commissioner's report.
Commissioner Vacy?
Yeah, I talked with Tim this morning, and I asked him to give me a list of all the programs, all the juvenile programs they have, because I'm thinking we may have some space at the train depot, and maybe instead of renting different locations, maybe domestic relations can use some of that space for juvenile programs. And what they're now paying in rent in other locations.
Are they renting now?
That's what we need to know. Tim is going to go through some of the programs with me, and then we'll decide what we can do.
We have some areas that we rent. For example, we've got a grant that was just approved, the Success for Youth Program Community Foundation of Greater Lorain County. We were trying to get some space over at the college, and they might be imposing a cost on us, which we're not prepared to fund due to our grant. So we could use some space for different programs. We're always looking to apply for new grants for new programming that comes up. So if anything is available, we can definitely look into that. And I can get a list to you right away with the programs that we have right now.
Tim, you might want to look into, see if there's any grants available for brick and mortar or reconstruction. Maybe that can assist us too.
Within the next 2 or 3 months, I believe we can make some space up on Broad Street, readily available up by the title office. We have a private concern in there now, and I would rather have a county department up there. It's got very good street exposure right up here on Broad Street. There's a couple good, maybe 800 or 900 square feet up there that we could vacate and use that. So maybe we should get together. I'm not sure if it's a location for you or just space, and that's something we'd have to talk about. Because I've also been talking to the auditor's office. We rent some space for their folks, and I had indicated we may have some space up on Broad Street for them, so sure, we should get together, Tim.
Anything on Broad Street would be great because the Elyria and Lorain populations, that's relatively close.
I guess from hearing what you said, you don't want to pay me any rent, though, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, but if you're paying rent in other locations, it may assist with the maintenance of the building to keep it up through, like through the winter and like air conditioning, heating,
You know, obviously,
electric.
getting the dollars in the program is what it's all about, so
Right.
I'll work with you, Tim.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that's the only thing I have this morning.
Mr. Blair?
I have two things. One is a little humorous, and the other is a important thing in our county. I came to work this morning. I found this on my desk. It says, "The witch is in, and she's casting spells." And I just want to thank my secretary for her great thought of me. And the second is I want to report on the Palmer House ribbon cutting ceremony that was held earlier this week. It is funded by the Lake Erie Addiction Foundation, the Community Foundation of Greater Lorain, the Stocker Foundation, the City of Lorain, the Ohio Department of Alcohol and Drug Addiction Services, and the Lorain County Department of Alcohol and Drug Addiction Services. And the director from, I'm looking for her name on here, Lucille Fleming, who is the state director, was there. Yes, and she made remarks, and she said 13 years ago, I believe when she took office, there were 20 houses for women across the state for rehabilitation, and she said now there are 90. And she says recovery is only the beginning part. They need to be teaching living. So this was a really moving experience. There were a lot of people there. And Catherine Palmer, who is the from whom the house was named, she's the women's program coordinator for the state. And she said her message was that we're not measured by the breaths that we take, but the moments that take our breath away. And it was and it's a wonderful house. They renovated on East 27th Street, across the street from St. Stanislaus Church. And I toured the house. They have room for 5 young ladies there, and the one lady who took me on the tour said that she was fortunate enough to be one of those people living there. So it was very nice. It's a nice compliment to the county's existing program, so I thought you'd like to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. On Monday, it was a pleasure to welcome Governor Taft to Lorain County again. We met at Poly 1 to go over the initiatives of the governor regarding the third frontier of our state, with the economy being more geared towards a technical infrastructure, which is my segue into a 10:30 meeting we will be having here, since it looks like our meeting's almost over. So we're going to have a little break here. But it's great, once again, that the governor's been up to Lorain County, and it's nice to know that a governor knows where we're at. So it was a very productive meeting. It was, Poly 1 has a great crew. It was nice walking around, meeting the employees, and seeing the positive attitudes in the corporation. And it was all in all a very good day. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any old business?
I have none.
I have none.
New business?
None.
I have none.
Board correspondence?
I move the reading be waived.
Second.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Public comment?
Anybody have any public comment? Or do you have to wait till your camera's hooked up, Bob? We can wait. We got like 25 minutes. You want to wait on that?
I wasn't expecting such an early call.
You sure? I mean, you can move to waive. I'll give you 6 minutes next week. Okay. I mean, if you want to do that, if you're not ready if you don't trust Hal's tapes, you can,
Well, lately,
Oh, watch this, watch this. Okay, well, we're working on it. I want you to know we are working on it. The commissioners are reviewing a couple proposals for you, and there's no need to get negative on us today. So that's probably no reason for you to come up then, right?
I have a different subject. After I put my shirt on.
We appreciate you putting your shirt on.
I didn't put my top on. My name's Robert Kish, founder, president, treasurer, speaker of 7 Cs. And one of the thoughts that came to me was all the world, some guy by the name of Bill from made this statement many years ago. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. I think his last name was Shakespeare, different country. Anyhow, I've been reading some of the editor's letters in the papers. And the latest thing that I've been seeing, there's controversy starting to brew about old drivers driving on the road. I have never hit anybody yet. I've never got a speeding ticket. I have gotten a parking ticket, you're aware of that. Anyhow, after one of the older residents evidently wrote this article, there was a retort by evidently a younger person stating that older people aren't safe on the roads. Younger people got the reflexes and the ability to outdrive an older driver. It's true, but statistics prove that while they're out driving them, they're killing themselves. So my thought on it is that there are both sides of the question, but if we are going to have testing for people over 75, and I don't know you're any part of that or not, and I really, it's neither here nor there. I'd like to see testing for everybody if that's the case. And maybe one of those on the younger driver with the higher, then to have these monitors that they now place on cars that can turn themselves in when they violate the law. Other than that, I have a mixed bag of news. I was pleased to read that we're going to get to view the tape that the county paid for, reference county government. Now, how much of it we're going to see, I don't know. It's on at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, the dates I don't have right now. But it'd be really interesting to see in its entirety, if that's the possibility, because we can compare apples and oranges for different areas. But I don't know if I had anything to do with that. If not, well, I'm pleased that I had something to do with that. If not, whoever had, I'm a nobody. Somebody's are on top sitting at the desk.
No, you're somebody to us.
I'm nobody. I know that. But what I'm getting at is, I'd like to thank you for at least making it available to the public, and the public did pay for it. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Does anybody else have any public comment? Okay, well, you guys want to talk for 20 minutes, or should we take a break?
I move we temporarily
Okay.
adjourn till 10:30.
Okay,
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
I thought you did when you said okay.
Oh, no, okay, yeah.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Okay.
Are you ready, Hal? Okay. We have a 10:30 presentation. Welcome back. I'd like to have Mr. Bonham take the floor here. So, welcome.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having us here this morning for this public presentation. My name is Brian Bonham, that's B-O-N-H-A-M. I am the Community Development Agent with OSU Extension here in Lorain County. It is my pleasure this morning to introduce several people over here in the audience. From the Technology Policy Group in Columbus is Perry Sabity and David Matisoff. And Perry will be presenting to you a summary of the final report. And then also after Perry goes, Dr. Church would like to say a few words, and he's here from Lorain County Community College. And Shara Davis as well, the Interim Director of the Public Services Institute and Director of JCPR. So with that, I will hand the microphone to Perry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Perry Sabity. That's spelled P-A-R-I. Last name Sabety, S-A-B-E-T-Y. I'm from the Technology Policy Group, lodged at the Ohio Supercomputer Center on the campus of The Ohio State University. I want to thank all of you for inviting me and David Matisoff to come here and talk to you about our work on the IT roadmap for Lorain County. I have to say that from the very first time we heard about working with you, we sat down with Roy Church, Ron Twining, Betty Blair, and many of the rest of you, David Moore as well. I have to say we were very impressed by your strength of vision and leadership in terms of the state of Ohio. You should be proud Lorain County is the first county to actually take Ecom Ohio data, but actually go down even further and think about what that meant in terms of a roadmap for its digital future. When we go to other states, I should tell you we're now doing work in 7 other states around the country. We use Lorain County and you folks in this room as a great example of a community ready to capitalize on the significant information infrastructure and leadership that exists locally to create jobs in a future. In 1998, a digital economy task force was convened by the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce, the Lorain County Community College, and yourselves to discuss the future of the digital economy in Lorain County. Actually, you folks became part of those early discussions by designating the Lorain County Department of Community Development and Ron Twining to represent you in those discussions. During those early task force meetings, some concerns were raised about both the quality and the quantity of the information technology infrastructure available to Lorain County's current and potential businesses. How could Lorain County move to a digital economy if the infrastructure wasn't here to support it? Or what if the infrastructure was available, but not at market prices? Obvious to the task force was the need to benchmark Lorain County's readiness for its digital future. Lorain County should be very proud. It is, in fact, the first county to begin doing so in Ohio. Some of your initial assumptions were that Lorain County's information infrastructure wouldn't attract companies to the county because it's not as sophisticated or as robust as neighboring urban areas around Cleveland particularly. You suspected that businesses in Lorain County paid a premium for connectivity, thereby increasing their overall cost of doing business. And you set an ambitious vision to make Lorain County home to the most sophisticated home and business users of advanced telecommunications technologies in the state of Ohio and a leading region in the nation. We exploded some of those myths after we completed our assessment. So what did we find? Currently, 94% of the population in Lorain County has access to broadband internet services. By 2003, 97% of the Lorain County population will have access to these broadband services. As we drove in here today, we saw a big sign across the Alltel building advertising their DSL service. Advanced telecommunication services like those T1s and DS3s are available ubiquitously throughout the Lorain County. And costs in this county are similar to those in more metropolitan areas of the state of Ohio when we did cost comparisons to Cleveland, Columbus, and elsewhere. Hence, we titled our report, A Distinct Competitive Advantage for the Future. Lorain does have a distinct competitive advantage. It has a telecommunications infrastructure built for the future, which of course leads us to another challenge. If Lorain County is so well connected, how does it capitalize on this asset to become a leader in the digital economy? Lorain must boost the usage of advanced telecommunications services throughout Lorain County's homes, schools, businesses, and government, creating the most sophisticated, savvy technology users in the state of Ohio. It is these high-end, skilled users who will then become the workforce that drives your current businesses and helps to attract more high-quality, high-wage potential businesses and industries to the county. At the end of our report, you will see there are 3 potential scenarios we laid out for Lorain County. Achieving your vision will require extending broadband to every household in the county and boosting usage of advanced telecom services throughout Lorain County at home, in schools, businesses, and government. And we make some suggestions about how you might do so. We outline some action steps and plans to focus on at the back of the report. We understand that creating demand for internet-based technologies and applications requires that every citizen of Lorain County see the internet as necessary and desirable for them to live, work, and play. 3 things need to happen in order for that to occur. First, key institutions in Lorain County must take leadership to deploy web applications and use them every day in their interactions with citizens, businesses, and individuals. Second, we need to take a look around ourselves. Take a look around you and learn from others' best practices. Many communities throughout Ohio and the U.S. are experimenting with new ways to use the internet to streamline operations, lower costs, provide a higher level of service to customers, and improve productivity. And third, build a strong public awareness of the need to adopt new technologies and use them for Lorain's future, using public forums, business incubators, many other tools that we've talked to with lots of folks here in this room to help spread the word. We encourage you to use this report to attract, retain, and recruit businesses to Lorain County, where your telecommunications infrastructure is, in fact, a distinct competitive advantage. We stand ready to assist you in achieving your vision to make Lorain County home to the most sophisticated home and business users of advanced communications technologies in the state of Ohio and a leading region in the nation. Thank you very much. I would be happy to take questions from the commissioners.
Oh, we appreciate
Questions,
your
comments?
statements.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Church?
Do I need to use this, or?
Yeah.
All right. I'll get my directions straight here. Commissioners, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to comment just briefly on this as well. And to really applaud your leadership in taking the notion of assessing our information technology infrastructure to the county level and giving us the planning tools that will enable us to fulfill that vision of making Lorain County home of the most sophisticated IT users, both home users and business users, not only in our region, but in our state and nationally. You know, it's really kind of interesting. I was sharing with Commissioner Moore, I just came from a meeting in Cleveland where there were discussions about the challenges to our region, and the conversation that has evolved through a group called NORTEC, which is the Northeast Ohio Technology Council, are looking at how do we turn our information technology infrastructure into a competitive advantage. And what they're talking about doing is exactly what you authorized and committed to do a year and a half ago now when we started this study. They're starting to try to look at mapping the IT infrastructure, not only in Cuyahoga County, but throughout Northeast Ohio. So again, your leadership and vision has put Lorain County ahead of the game and right in the position that we need to be in order to take full advantage of these technological tools as we try to drive the economic development and growth of our community and our economy. Now, the challenge we face at this point, I think, is pretty clear. We surprised ourselves in finding that, in fact, we have more information technology infrastructure than we would have anticipated when we started out the study. You know, the fact that we have access for home users, for 85% of the home users, to at least 2 sources of broadband service is remarkable. The challenge is, how do we help Lorain counties get to use that? And to use it in a way that enables them to earn a living, to be able to provide for their families, and to enjoy the quality of life that we aspire to in Lorain County. And in order to do that, we're going to have to ratchet up the usage, and we're going to have to ratchet it up in very significant ways. And part of the proposal, if you look at the scenarios here, is that we have to use our key county institutions as leaders in modeling the use of these technologies. You know, one of the things we know about information technologies, the microprocessor and the internet, is that they have the potential to significantly improve productivity. We know when you increase productivity, you have a direct connection to the increase of wealth. Wealth produces jobs and produces opportunities for people in our community. And that's the cycle that we're trying to feed. We want more people in Lorain County to be able to use these tools effectively, to be able to increase their effectiveness in our companies and our organizations throughout the county so that our productivity goes up and so that we make better use of the dollars and resources we have, and that we generate those dollars back into the pockets of people and families and enable them to reinvest in their lives in our community. That's what this is all about. And so we've got to do a lot to increase that. How do we model the utilization of technologies? You have a responsibility as county government, just as Lorain County Community College has responsibility as Lorain County's higher education institution, to use these technologies and to enable people to use these technologies to do business with us, to be able to fulfill what it is our mission is in service to the people of Lorain County. And there are lots of different ways to do that. You all participated in Vision 21, the development of the strategic vision for Lorain County Community College. You may remember the third strategic priority was to advance creative learning alternatives anytime, any place. That was a vehicle through which your college is attempting to model the behavior of utilizing these technologies in effective ways. And the results after 4 years have been phenomenal. This semester alone, 21% of all students at Lorain County Community College take at least one distance learning course. One course via the internet, via a combination of telecourses and interactive communications using other telecommunication tools, 21%. And you know what? 90% of those individuals live right here in Lorain County. So what we in fact did by increasing access to education through these electronic tools is we enabled a lot more Lorain Countyans to take advantage of the education services you created in creating this community college. That's one example of the kind of power of utilizing these tools that I think we can create in a variety of our institutions across the county that model a behavior. You know, we have now households across Lorain County that have figured out that it's to their advantage to access broadband service from home so that they can take educational courses from Lorain County Community College. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they could interact with government and achieve some of the services that in fact they rely upon you for, and to do that through the access with technology? We not only would make it more flexible, more convenient, more cost-effective, and more effective overall. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. We're also working with the K-12 education system as another major component, another county-wide institution. If you look at our 16 school districts, we right now have 12 of those districts that have joined together in the Lorain County Distance Learning Network. So that we begin to take more advantage of these tools, so that if in fact we need to provide a course in calculus for students in their senior year in high school, but Keystone doesn't have enough students to make up a whole class, but perhaps Firelands has a few students and Wellington has a few students, and through distance learning we bring them together to create a class. So we create an efficiency that provides access and expands opportunities for them in significant ways. Those are just examples of the kinds of things we can do to enable and encourage more Lorain Countyans to utilize these tools to advance themselves and eventually to advance the quality of life in our community. We want Lorain County to be the most competitive community in the Ohio economy for the decade to come and beyond. And these tools are critically important in that process. Now, I've talked in these examples primarily about individuals and people accessing technology from their homes. The other major challenge that we have is that our small and medium-sized companies in Lorain County are not utilizing the technologies as effectively as they could. You know, we don't have to worry about PolyOne or Invacare or Nordson or Ridgetool. They use these technologies and they use them very effectively. They're very sophisticated in connecting to their customers, to their suppliers, to the world via these technologies. But we have over 80% of our companies in Lorain County employ 20 or fewer people. And if you just look at that fact and you look at where the productivity gain is possible, it is by enhancing the effectiveness of every one of those companies that employ less than 20 people. If every one of those people that they employed had the technological tools and abilities to tap into these technologies, they could enhance the success of every one of those small and medium-sized companies significantly and ultimately provide more jobs for people right here in our community. You know, job growth is going to come in Lorain County through small company development. It's not going to come from Ford adding more employees. It's obviously not coming from steel in our community today. We're going to have to look at the base we have, which are a vibrant base of small and medium-sized companies, and encourage them to grow and develop and to grow more jobs right here in our community. And so we need to encourage them to utilize these tools more effectively. That's why the Chamber of Commerce is one of our partners in this process. That's why we rely on GLIDE to try to help communicate effectively to the entrepreneurs of the world about these technologies, how to access the tools, and to utilize them effectively. You know, when it comes right down to the bottom line, we need to have good jobs in Lorain County, for Lorain County to be successful and to be the kind of place we want to live for the rest of this decade and decades to come. The IT infrastructure is a critically important aspect of our ability to achieve that dream. We need to encourage more Lorain Countyans to use these tools, and in order to do that, we need to model the behavior that we expect from them. So we applaud you for your vision and for your leadership. You have become not only regional but statewide leaders in economic development and are to be commended for that. We need to not rest on our laurels. We need to take this forward and enhance the utilization so that we do become the home of the most sophisticated users in Northeast Ohio. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Church. Sure brought my applause magazine, or my little applause. That was a great speech.
I got it, roll.
Oh, no. I'm glad I'm not like that. Thank you. I think it's a great day in Lorain County to finally get all this together and to see that. And it's also impressive that you're modeling Lorain County throughout the United States. We didn't expect that, but maybe we should. Because I think too many people look at Lorain County and they don't see the great things that are really happening here. And I think this is another project that shows that we are on the cutting edge and we're not being reactionary but proactive to what our problems could be here in Lorain County. So I do commend all of you and the partnerships that this did bring with the whole community coming together. So I commend you all, and I appreciate that. Any other questions for?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's wonderful. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. Okay. So, is that it? Huh?
Did Mr. Twining have any comments? Well, you know, Ron was our feed to this group.
I said I wouldn't talk, but the only thing that I think we ought to let everybody know, and especially the commissioners, we plan to come back. You have a draft copy of this report, and we're going to give you approximately 30 days to review that and see what the recommendations are. Then we're anticipating October 17th at that meeting. We will come with a resolution asking you to accept and adopt the IT roadmap report that you have in draft form today. And then at that point, once that resolution is approved, and I'm assuming it will be, but once it's approved, we will make copies available to the public in mass distribution. So that's the schedule.
So maybe I made a mistake. They're running some copies and passing them out already?
It's draft, and it was indicated draft, so that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
I'll second. Sorry, Dave.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Dave wanted to speak to all three.